Yes. 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 This is the first time that I've done this with Sagan. The moment that I'm looking for is for him to put his nose underneath my hands and start to hit my hands apart. So my hands smell like treats, and that's why he's going after my hands, and that's okay for right now. I'm not really adding in any other cues at the moment. I am kind of fiddling with my hands, but I'm not worried too much about him recognizing that specific thing. I'm just trying to get down what I want him to do about it. And then once he understands the action he's supposed to do, I'll start cueing that action with the whatever hand motion I'm gonna do. So as I'm sitting here twiddling with my fingers, getting him interested, once he's interested, yes, and he puts his nose underneath my hand like that, yes. So I'm not rewarding for him poking my hand. I'm not rewarding for him licking my hand. I'm rewarding for the top of his nose being between my fingers underneath my hand. Yes. 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 If they lose interest, you can bring them back over with a treat, let them nibble at the treat. I can put the treat between my fingers. Yes. And then release it when he pushes my fingers apart like that. So I'm looking for him to use his nose to push my hands up and apart. So I've got a piece of treat in my hand. I'm going to put my hands together so that the treat is right between my fingers. And what I'm looking for is for him to use his nose to push up under my hands. Yes, just like that. I'm not looking for him to poke my hands with his nose straight on. I'm not looking for him to lick my fingers. I'm looking for him to take his nose and put it under my hands. Yes, like that. And try to push my hands apart. And right now I'm not using any of the actual stimulation that he's going to look for, so none of the actual hand picking. Yes, I'm just trying to get him to do the motion of knocking my hands apart. Yes, and then we can cue that once he has an idea of what he's supposed to be doing. But I want to teach him the answer before I ask him what he should be doing about it. Yes. So he's doing pretty well with this. I've still got the treat in my hand. Yes. And he's starting to get the idea of how to get the treat out of my hand. So now what I'm going to do with my hands empty, I'm now going to put my fingers together and see if he'll do it without a treat. And he might not be ready for this yet. This is the first time we've done it. Yes. So he was getting a little distracted, so I shortened up on the leash a little bit, gave him less room to roam, less things to get distracted by. So he's licking, yes. And I'm not going to reward for that licking. I'm just rewarding for, yes, putting his nose under my hands and trying to knock my hands apart. Yes. And I'm marking this verbally. You can definitely mark this with a clicker. Yes. If you have a second person there, it would be very difficult to do it alone. Yes. You can also mark this with a hand signal or with a flashing light. Anything that tells the dog that they did it correctly, you just want to build an association with that marker first. So if I'm going to be using a hand signal or a flashing light, I want to flash that light, treat, flash, treat, so that they start to anticipate that the flashing light means a treat is coming. Sagan's been conditioned already for the vocal marker of yes. So he knows that when I say yes, that he did something correct. Yes. So he's getting better at this. He's taking longer to continue to try before he gives up. So that one was a little bit shorter. But that's what I'm going to be looking for as he gets better at this. That I don't have to treat him immediately, that he'll try for longer and then get his treat for knocking my hands apart. Because this may take more than a millisecond to break somebody out of picking at their fingers if they're really stuck on it. So I want to make sure that they will do it for as long as they need to. In the very beginning, I'm rewarding as soon as he starts to put his nose up under my hands, but I'll ask him to do it for longer as he gets better at this. Good boy. I'm also not cueing this with anything. I'm not verbally cueing this with a command like nose or hands or whatever you want to call it, because this is, for me, something that I'm not going to typically be speaking during the episodes where this is occurring. So I want to make sure that he can do this just off of the visual of my hands, and maybe the sound of my nails clicking together as I pick at my fingers, but I'm not going to actually call this anything. This isn't going to have a vocal command to it.